Hello. I'm hoping that I made a flat white given how, I don't know, shaky my latte art looks. So let's give it a try. Alright, let's just talk about a couple of things. So I think previously I've mentioned before that John and I were kind of playing around with the ratio while we're doing our daily POVs. So today I wanted to try a 1:1.8 as we've been doing a 1:2 ratio. And sometimes I feel like the 1:2 ratio might be just slightly more bitter than I prefer. But I was probably daydreaming and I actually stopped the extraction at a 1:1.9. So I would say it's still slightly more roasted than I was hoping it to be, but it's okay. I don't mind it. And the other thing with probably the latte art, I was trying to practice a bigger latte art, if that makes sense, as most of my latte art tends to be in the center of the cup and it's very narrow. So I thought maybe by pouring more at the beginning, it might open it up a little bit, which I guess it did for the first stack. I guess I don't know if I'm naming it correctly. It did, and maybe I was just unsure for the second and the third one, and it just ended up as a small somewhat to it again. I think overall I did a relatively decent job for today's coffee. Let's see. Alright, I'll just take one more sip. I'll give it a 4.2. There we have it, a 4.2. I've realized that with these beans that we've been using for quite a while, because we are using a lower dose, the full flavor of the espresso doesn't seem to be coming out. The recommended dose was 24 grams and we have been using 20 grams since we dialed in, as we don't have a basket that's big enough for 24 grams. The same issue keeps coming up whereby we feel like the coffee tends to be a little more diluted than we prefer. I know some of you guys did mention that we should also factor in, say, the coffee is to milk ratio, which means that we probably would have to use a smaller cup to compensate for lesser milk in that sense. We are aware of that, but for now we are using slightly bigger cups to practice our latte art. So I guess that's something that we will have to compensate with. So we're compensating the taste for us to practice latte art. Does that make sense? I think so. I don't know. But alright, that's today's rating, 4.2. It was a decent cup of coffee. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.